Assalamu alaikum and good morning. In the lecture of the series of the biostates, today is the lecture number 3. In the previous lectures, we learned the data and the variables, and we learned the different type of the data and the variables. The data are categorized in the two types of the data. One is called the quantity data, and the second one is the qualitative data. And the further quantitative data is subdivided into the two types. It's called the nominal data and the ordinal data. And the quantitative data is further divided in the two types, in the discrete and continuous data. So for the when you collect the information and then after you collect the information, you classify it. After classification, you organize and arrange the data, and then after the organizing and arranging the data, you summarize the data, and after the summarization of the data, then we will apply the different tests, or through the frequency table, proportion or percentage, or with the utilization of the different type of the test, then we will come up with the concrete result. And just to give the meaningful result to the data, or to the after the summarization of the data, it is called the interpretation. So this interpretation of the data and the concrete result, to visualize it for the audience or for the reader and for the learner, to how this data should be present in the graphical form. So for the presentation or for the visualization of the result of the data, so we use the different type of the graph or the graphical presentation for the to present our result of our study, of our research project, or our any statistical research projects. So we have the different type of the today I draw the different type of the some of the different type of the graph, which is we will use for the different type of the categories or the different type of the data. So as we learned in the qualitative data, which is the data are divided or classified in the different type of the categories or in the different type of the groups. So we have the two type of the qualitative data. One is called the nominal data, and the second one is called the ordinal data. So here it is a bar chart. The first one, this one is called the bar chart. In the bar chart, it's a maybe present or visualize the data in the vertical. The data, the bar are present or visualize in the vertical form, or you can visualize or present the data on the bar chart in a sliding or in the horizontal way. So mostly the people are using the data displayed through the bar chart in the vertical way. In the bar chart, you see in every bar is a gap is present. During the bar chart, in the graphical form of the bar chart, in each bar is a gap is present. So it shows that this data is for the using that this bar chart is using for the nominal and for the ordinal data, and also for the discrete data. For the discrete data and for the nominal and mostly it is used for the nominal and ordinal data. Here I draw a bar chart in which I display the result of the students, which is they took the marks in the different type of the subject, the physics, English, biology and maths. And on the white, this is of every bar chart, it has in the horizontal way it is x-axis, on the vertical way it is y-axis. In the x-axis, always the independent variables always be write down over here. on the y-axis we always put the dependent variables result or dependent variables characteristic. So here in the bar chart, it see that it is visualizing very easily way that the English, the students of the of any college, it is a hypothetically that the students take the good marks in the English and the biology. In the English they have the good marks, and in the second one they have took the good marks in the biology subjects. So it is visualized very easily through the bar chart. Now in the second bar chart is the types of the bar chart, which is used for the categorical data, which is used for the qualitative data, but in this bar chart the bars are present in a sliding or in the horizontal way. So it is mostly used the sliding way when you use any scale for the, just like here is the scale has been used for the, suppose for the marking of the of any faculty members, how the faculty member are enough competent in their teachings for the faculty members. Yeah, for the performance of the any hospital, or for the performance of the healthcare workers in any hospital. So you see that by here the mostly is the 50% or the performance is very good. Means the performance of the healthcare worker in a particular hospital, the 50% they are good, and then the 30% they are the average. So mostly the performance you can visualize very easily that the overall performance of this hospital is very good. Is a 50% is a very good, and the average is 30%, and the best is 20%, and the outstanding is maybe less than 10%. So this is another way to visualize your data, the result of your data in the bar chart, but in the sliding way, in the horizontal way. So it is again used for the nominal and ordinal data, for the categorical data. Now another graph which is used mostly is which is a circle in form, which is a circle in shape, and this chart is called the pie chart. The pie chart is you know very well, the pie chart is 30 degree 360 degree. The whole of this circle is angle. The angle of the circle is the 360 angle. So we have the three types of the data, but the percentage is the 100%. Now the 50% and 30% and 20%. The 50% mostly you shopping the shalwar kameez. They wear the shalwar and kameez, and 30% pant and shirt, and 20% wears the jeans and in any college. So this is this another graphical data, which is the pie chart, in which you can visualize your result of your, again it is used for the categorical data, for the nominal and ordinal data. You can utilize this 50% students wear the shalwar kameez, and 30% wear the pant and shirt, and 20% are wear the jeans and t-shirts. So, but this is the percentage, the 100%. Okay, but the angle, the whole circle angle is the 360. How you can say these 50% is this allocate for this for the 50% or for the half of the circle. So it is a formula for here. It is a formula for to calculate the angle. Means the angle, the number of the frequency and the total number of frequency, how much if it was, and we will multiply by the 360. Okay, the number of the frequency, if any data, the number of the frequency divided by the total number of the frequency and multiply by the 360. So it will calculate the suppose it will calculate the 150 angle. So we will goes to 180. Suppose it come up with the 180 angle. So 180 angle means half of this circle. The half of the circle is 180 angle, and 180 is the 180 and 180 is become a 360. So after that, after the pie chart, we have the another graphical presentation. एक और भी graphical presentation है हमारे data के लिए. So this is called the histogram, and this chart is called the histogram. The histogram is similar like a bar chart, but you see the one bar is adjacent, is attached with the another bar. You see one bar, the end of the one bar is starting of the second bar, and the end of the second bar is the starting of the third bar. So in the histogram, the bars are attached with each other. They are the adjacent with each other. So it give the sense that it is used for the continuous variable. So the histogram is used for the continuous variable, and it is also used for the discrete variable. Mostly the histogram is used for the continuous variable. So this is the histogram which is I present, जो मैंने present किया है. इसमें जो एज ग्रुप है उसको मैंने मुख्तलिफ ग्रुप में डिवाइड किया हुआ है ऑन दी वाई एक्स एक्सिस पे, और वाई एक्सिस पे जो है ना नंबर ऑफ दी फ्रीक्वेंसीज या नंबर ऑफ दी परसेंटेज. तो फर्स्ट ग्राफ में आप फर्स्ट बार पे आप देखेंगे 10 से लेके 15 साल, 16 से 20 साल, एंड 21 से लेके 25 साल, 26 से लेके 30 साल, 31 से लेके 40 साल. सो ये जो है ना जो हिस्टोग्राम है ये यूज होती है कंटिन्यूस वेरिएबल के लिए, क्योंकि इसमें डेटा जो है ना इसके अंदर कोई गैप मौजूद नहीं है. एंड नाउ सी इफ यू स्टार्ट दिस यू मिड पॉइंट, दिस द मिड पॉइंट, द मिड पॉइंट ऑफ द डेटा. इफ यू सी तो ये देखें डेटा जो है ना बेल शेप दे रही है. इज द गिव द विजुअलाइजेशन ऑफ द बेल शेप. ओके, बेल शेप का मतलब ये है कि जब डेटा बेल शेप दे देती है तो इट्स गिव द सेंस दैट द डेटा इज द नॉर्मली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड, बट दिस द हिस्टोग्राम इन विच द बार आर एडजेसेंट or attached with each other, and the histogram is mostly used for the continuous variable, and you also use for the discrete variable, but it is mostly used for the continuous variable. Now we will come up on another chart. If we in the second lecture we measured the frequency. We use the frequency table for the organization and the summarization of the data. In the frequency table, we calculated the relative frequency. In the relative frequency, we will come up with the different type of the proportion and the percentage of the data which is present in the particular data and any data. So now see. In the frequency table, same. It is the bar are attached with each other. Okay, this is the histogram. And when we will join the midpoint of the line. Now see, now we raise the bar, the lining of the bar. Now only the line is present over here, and this line is show the shape of the, just like the mountainous. It shows the mountainous shape of the line. Okay. Now the lineous presentation of of the bar, it is called the frequency polygon. Frequency polygon. This lining presentation, the lining presentation of the frequency polygon is show the result of the any data. If you see here, which one is showing the 50%, means this data is a more in a frequency or percentage. The relative frequency of this data is quite much is higher on the highest peak as compared to the other one. Okay, now in the second lecture we learned frequency polygon, and in the frequency table we calculated the relative frequency, and we also calculated the cumulative frequency and cumulative relative frequency. In cumulative relative frequency, we always see that the percentage, the proportion will go to reach at the 100 level, the 100%. Now, in the frequency table, we can but if we so the question has been arising over here in the frequency table when we present the result of the frequency table of the cumulative frequency in the frequency polygon. So why the need of the cumulative relative frequency? This chart, which is called the cumulative relative frequency, or OU or OG. Someone is called the OG and someone is called the OGU. The OGU chart, you see in the OGU chart is always the frequency, the linear frequency is always goes to upward from 10%, 25%, 35%, 38%, 80% and 100%. Now, what's the need of that? Now we will make the three quartile, 25%, 50% and 75%. Now by these three quartile, 25%, 50% and 75%, we can also interpret the data. The means that the 25% students take the 25% of the population is from the age from the 10 to 20 years. Now we can say the 50 years, the 50% of the population of this the students of the college is fall from 10 to 30%. From 10 to 30%, the 50% population, is fall from 10 to 30%. And you also can say 75% population is fall from the 10 to 45%. 10 to 45 years, from the 10 to less than 45 years, from you can say the 75% population is less than 45 years of the age. Yeah, you can say that the 75% of the population age from the 10 to 45 years of the age. So the cumulative relative frequency polygon, the other name for the cumulative relative frequency polygon chart is called the OGU chart. Okay, so now the another chart, and this chart is called the scatter plot. This chart is called the scatter plot, and you can say linear relation. Linear regression. You can say relationship, correlation, relationship. So this chart is the scatter plot. Now the scatter plot, again I told you earlier, on the x-axis is always present the independent variable, and the dependent variable is always present on the y-axis. But in the scatter plot we see the relationship between the two variables. So here I draw a scatter plot in which I show on the x-axis I write down the people which is doing the exercise, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and so on. On the y-axis I write down the weight of the pupils, 60 kg, 70 kg, 80 kg, 90 kg, 100 kg. If you see, those who are doing the exercise on the daily basis for the 30 minutes, they have lost the weight. Their weight is quite much higher. And when they increase the exercise, when they are increasing their exercise level from the 30 minutes to 1 hour, 2 hours, 1.5 hour, 2 hours, and more than 2 hours, their weight become decreasing. From 100 to it is going to 70 or 65 kg. So it shows the positive relationship between the exercise and the weight loss. But this positive relationship is called the negative relationship. Negative doesn't mean that it is a negative, but it is negative in the sense of the good. The good sense means if you are doing the exercise, if you are exercise for 1 hour, 2 hours, and you are those people who are doing the exercise for the higher, for the more hours, for the 1 or 2 or 3 hours, they weight the loss quite much faster as compared to those who are doing the exercise for the less hours. Okay, so it shows the positive relationship between the exercise and the weight loss. Now see another similar in the linear regression, the scatter plot. You see, when it is the relationship between the study hours and also from the GPA of the students. Those students who are studying, who are giving the time for their study of the biostats, okay, or the biostat or for their BSN program. Those who are giving the 1 hours, their GPA will become a 1.5 or 2. As they increase the hours for their study, if the students are giving more hours to their study, 1 hours, their GPA is very less. And those students they are giving the time for their study or focus their study and giving the time for the 2 hours. For the 2 hours, their GPA will become a 2 or 2.5. And those students which is giving the more time, 3 hours, and they are attending their classes properly, and they are listening the lecture properly, their GPA will be increasing from reach towards the 3 or more than 3.5. And those who are giving the 4 hours or more than 4 hours, their GPA will be more than 3 or reach at the near about of the 4. So it means this is the how much the study hours is going to decrease. So means your GPA will be increasing. If you are giving more time to your study, then means your GPA will be increased. So it shows the positive relationship. It shows the positive relationship between the study and GPA. Okay, so it is again is a I told you the scatter plot again is the shows the relationship between the independent variable and dependent variable, and your independent variable is the study hours and your dependent variable is GPA. So how much you will be more time, it will increase your GPA. But here in the exercise and weight, how much you increase the exercise hours, your weight become a loss. It is also the positive relationship, it is also the good relationship, but in the negative positive relationship. It's a negative relationship, strong negative relationship. It is called the strong negative relationship, it is called the strong positive relationship. So this is the all about the graphical presentation which is used for the different type of the data, and for the we use very mostly in our in the statistical test, in the statistical data. For the your research projects, you can use also these type of the graphical data as according to your variables and according your data and the information. So and when you will reach in the last semester of your post-RN BSN, then definitely you will go to conduct the research project. And the research project, when you collect the data and summarize the data, and then you will come up with the result, so definitely you will be present your data in the graphical form, which is visualized very easily for the audience, which is very easily understandable for the data of your result in the one look through the graphical data for the learner, for the audience. So I hope you have learned a lot from the today's sessions. If you any sort of the queries or the question, you can email me, you can comment my YouTube inbox, so I will reply it. And the last, I request you all, and I request you all just to subscribe my YouTube channel, and also say your colleagues, your students and your classmate and your friend of your circle just to watch my this biostat video lectures, which is very learning session for you all. And I'll also press the bell button, so you will get the new lecture, which is I will be uploaded as soon as possible. So thank you all.